Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. Now, we had Deku. Deku, he did a number of things. First of all, he gave Kirishima the stone fruit. Now, afterwards, Deku showed Kirishima a bit more about how to use it. He began to actually train Bakugo, Mina, and Kirishima in the ways of hockey. He was trying to teach them armament hockey and observation. Now, Bakugo started to get the hang of armament hockey, and that actually does say quite a lot about him. Now, Bakugo, he is trying to train more with his ability, non-stop. It's one of the only ways he can kill a devil fruit user, and that has been quite a lot after what he's seen Deku do in front of him. Now, speaking of Deku, he got into someone's territory. He decided to attack the Ayama family, and he destroyed one of their nightclubs. Now, he wrote a message in blood and left behind a picture of him with a man who was beaten up severely. And Ayama? He was annoyed. He called the phone number Deku provided him, literally written on the wall in blood. And Deku, he talked to Ayama and told him something quite simply. They are going to play a game called War. They are going to have one simple thing happen. A competition. They are going to be doing a Davy Back game. And what this does mean is quite simple. If Deku wins, he gets whatever he wants from that familia. If Ayama somehow wins, because he's a cheater, he'll get to get anything he wants from Izuku. That does mean quite literally anything. His life, his eternal servitude, or money, if he so wished. Now, that does mean quite a lot. If Deku can't fulfill it, he'll have to go into a contract with Ayama. Now, Ayama's family has cheated multiple David Back games to actually get much of their empire, and that has been quite a bit. Deku was informed by Momo Yaoyorozu. His family's hated and they're cheaters, but they always resort to this method. And Deku, he does plan to actually use it against Ayama. Now, with that being said, Deku and Momo sat down for a drink when we last saw them. But we do actually have Izuku right now. Deku, right now he actually has to go to someone wake up in his bed. And Deku does sit up. Right now Deku, when he does this sit up, he actually is going to look around. Him going to actually turn and stand up. Him going to walk into his bathroom. As Deku, he does take a shower and go to get a few things ready. He goes to call up Bakugo, Kirishima, and Mina to see if any of them are awake. And he actually is going to get a response from Bakugo and Kirishima. And Mina, she is a bit, well, sluggish. But Kirishima talks about how he can go get her. And right now the four, they go to meet down in the lobby. As a few people, they actually are staring at Izuku Midoriya. Overnight, his bounty shot up. His bounty was relatively high. It was around, let's say, 200,000. But in the course of one single night, something happened that added an extra zero to it. He must have pissed somebody off, and some of them, they're actually a bit more itchy to grab their guns. Though, they're aware of the consequences of shooting his head off right here and now. And that does mean quite a lot. Some people might be camping outside, waiting for him to walk out of this building, because they know he's here. Others, however, they actually want to avoid him. People who have serious money on their head are very fucking dangerous, because they're still alive. And that has been quite a lot. Now, currently the four all do sit there. And Deku, he does actually look at Bakugo. Bakugo looks tired. He looks a bit exhausted. And right now Deku decided to tell Bakugo. Is he alright? I'm fine. Just, exhausted. So, today's the day? It is. So tell me, how's your training been going along? It's been going good. Though I gotta say, it's kinda weird. Now, Deku's actually gonna pull out his hand, him setting his fork down on his plate. Him are gonna at least hold it out, and gonna start using armament hockey. Right now, Mina watching Deku's arm could actually have a strange glow from around it, before it is actually gonna start turning into what looks like a blackened color. Now, Mina's a bit more alarmed, as Deku does look up towards Bakugo, asking him, "So, how far along has he gotten?" Now, Bakugo doesn't want to smile. Him actually going to somewhat lay down his fork and do the exact same thing. Deku's arm is entirely armored, but right now Bakugo, he does at least armor up his hand, and show it does actually go past his hand and onto his arm. However, that actually Bakugo does try to maintain focus. He tries to maintain it more and more. Before there actually is where Bakugo, he just to have it disappear. And right now he does let go of it and actually going to take a breath, since he was basically tensioning up a muscle as much as he could. Now, Bakugo, he actually does something to look down at his food. Damn it. It's not that easy, Bakugo. I know. Just... I'm closing the gap. Maybe so. Listen, how about we all get coffee this morning? Mina, you like coffee? I do. And how's your training been going? Good. Why? Asking. So, what can you do? I've been working out on a lot of things. I've been trying my best. Why? Asking questions. Trying to figure a few things out is all. So, what do you got? Right now, her actually still going to be on her hand, expressing. As she has to armor up her arm, and run the orders to form. However, not much is going to happen. And Deku is going to watch on. However, he doesn't want to try and read Mina. He tries to use his hockey to read her intention. And right now he can somewhat tell. She's actually a bit more better trained. Physically, she's more agile. Okay, so the armament might not be her focus. Observation? No. She's definitely more aware of her surroundings. He knows that much. She sort of has to be. Pretty girl, dangerous world. She has to be careful. Bakugo, though. Gun-ho and willing to run into danger. He needs a suit of armor and she needs to be more aware. So that's certainly interesting. Now, we're not going to look at Kirishima. And Kirishima, he does continue to drink his coffee. Him at least expressing how he's still trying to focus on his, I was going to ask you, Kirishima. I'm already aware as to how far behind you are on both. I focus on the one I use. What? Deku's going to lean over, expressing, focus on his devil fruit. Right, boss. Izuku. All of you call me Izuku. I don't feel like I've earned that right yet. Finally, we have something in common. What? You wave your dick around and all of a sudden you look like the big guy. Gotta say though, 2 million? Still hard to believe. Yeah. Although how does it feel to sleep in a bed you know you won't be stabbed in the next morning? Honestly, kind of relaxing. I've never really been able to sleep that long without worrying or waking up. Something off about you two. No, I'm fine. I'm alright too. Although I do really like the bath here. Alright. Come on. They're going to stand up. And none of the three are somewhat confused. As Deku does express, they have to go now. Currently, somebody going to walk into the room. And some people are going to turn their heads. As a woman is going to walk into the room, and right now her hair is somewhat tied back. And she is wearing something on her face. They're going to turn and see a mask. As the woman, she's going to step over to their table and bow. Right now, her expressing to all of them about how they need to come with her. And Deku, he doesn't want to turn. Him going to bow his head and actually to follow. And the three are somewhat confused. And some of them are watching. They're not too sure what this is. And currently they're due to walk through the lobby. As they're going to step outside, there actually is security. Security does stand there. And the four are going to pack into a vehicle with this mysterious person. As the person there, they do actually someone go to bring their hand up. Right now them sitting down in the vehicle as they go to pull the mask off of their face. And right now she does someone going to let down her hair. Her bring her hand up and pulling the thing out of her hair. Her going to relax, bring her hands up, and mess her hair around a bit, so as to properly loosen it up. And Ramina and Kirishima, they do both someone stare at Momo. And right now Deku, he does want to sit there. I'm going to help himself to the minibar, as currently the limousine does drive away. And someone, they actually do someone to ask, so who the hell is this chick? I'd mind your tone if I were you, Bakugo Katsuki. Who? How? Quite restless, aren't we? Though you've been trying to catch up a lot. And you're particularly annoyed that you can't catch up or touch him. Though you're also need to be aware. Even if you could touch him, he'd fucking kill you. Listen here, you. No. Now, Deku does bring his hand up. And Bakugo doesn't going to hold his tongue. As Deku does a turn. Expressing, this is Monsieur Yorozu. The one who does get to own the hotel they were all staying in. Now, all three of them were quite surprised, as Reno would actually cut to the pier, or let's say the carnival on the pier, where the entire place was shut down today. And it was told quite simply, there might be something going on here, so keep people away, and things will all be alright. Now, currently they're actually, so the vehicle is going to pull up, and Deku, he does express to all of them that he would rather like them all to somewhat stay here. What? Yes, stay here. Me and Kirishima will handle certain things. You can't be serious. I am. I could handle this all by myself, but I do feel like giving him a proper crash test would be quite fine. You can't be serious, man. I am Kirishima. Remember, the entire area around you is your weapon. Also, Kirishima, you must remember, right now we are not going to be revealing our devil fruits. Though I am thinking about leaving you behind for a minute because I do want to take care of this solo. Really? Yes. Though you will be at a distance, and if you do need to, you will come in and help. Correct, Momo. That is correct. As stated before in the contract, this is a familiar battle, and the game is war. And you do have to remember, there are a number of things in war that happen. Though not all the rules have been outlined, you gave him one guideline. You told him the game, and you told him to bring the strongest of his familia. That's correct. Though we do suspect he's going to try and cheat. The moment he breaks the rules, that's whenever we step in and murder. So you don't need us as backup then? No, most definitely we will need you. Though not for the intended purposes you think. What do you mean? Well, it's quite simple. You need to take video. That's all you gotta know. That being where Deku does step out of the vehicle. And right now there actually is Monsieur Yorozu. Deku actually going to turn and bring out his hand. And Momo does want to stare directly at Izuku. Her bring her hand out and grabbing onto his own. And going to step out of the car. Deku still going to actually have Momo walk past him. As Izuku, currently he does, going to walk with Momo to the area. Now, we do actually have Ayama. Ayama is sitting there. The entire place was cleared out today. And that does mean quite a lot. Though he does have his own concerns. He brought his men here. He brought people here. And right now, he does wonder what all of this does mean. Now, Ayama is a bit more concerned, but then there actually is over a man is walking up with Miss Yorozu, and right now he thinks that these two must be the people involved in mediating this game. However, Ayama, he does get a closer look at Deku. As Deku, whenever he does come to walking up, he does bring up his hand. Him going to bow and express to Ayama. It's nice to finally meet him face to face, though he is quite disappointed he didn't get to see him the other week. You! How dare you! Up, 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 up! Now, Ayama is not going to stare at Deku. As the men around him, they do get a bit more on guard. As Deku does express, they're playing a game, remember? If he does gonna fire a shot here before the game does start, then that does mean a number of things. Number one, he will cheat, and violating a Davy Back game, it is punishable by death. Doesn't he know that? Now, right now the man isn't going to stand there, and Ayama, he does gonna step forwards, expressing, okay, so he understands that, though Miss Yorozu being the mediator for this game, he really cannot be serious. The two of them walked up here together. How can he honestly believe that I came here and I actually picked him up? He was staying at my hotel as neutral ground. While there are many properties that claim to be neutral ground, Mr. Ayama, I can guarantee the safety of my guest. It also does not help that over the last week, his bounty has increased tenfold. Now, Mr. Ayama, do you understand exactly what it does mean? I do, yes. Good. Now, as I was informed on the ride over here, the game is called War. And I believe that Mr. Midoriya will outline the rules for us. He has issued the challenge. And, well, normally under circumstances, you would be able to pick the game. He outlined the contract he gave you. He could have gone after you and killed you the next day. From what he says, he could have found you. And that is quite simple. You agreed to a time limit, and that time limit is now up, meaning that your part of the contract was fulfilled. Also meaning that Mr. Midoriya is back with the ball in his court. So, the game is war, and the rules will be issued by him. I am a bit more surprised. Shit. No, wait. That's why he was so quick to give him the 1 week. Oh, shit. If they can't make the rules, then. Alright. This will be quite simple, Mr. Ayama. Where is the rest of your familia? My family. Where is the Lightspeed Hitman? Mr. Ayama, I am sufficient enough. In fact, I see the men you all have here. And I do have to say, it does appear that some of them have hockey. How do you... Oh, I see. Correct, Mr. Ayama. Now, if I'm to make one observation, that was a very poor put pun. No, Mr. Ayama, it was not a pun. It was simply a fact. I see that you have 20 men here. So, again, how do you want to play this? Because I do at least want to leave witnesses here. And the game of war does mean one simple thing. What? Well, war is quite simple, Mr. Ayama. There aren't any winners, only survivors. And the total eradication of these men, it would be simple. Though I am curious to know which one of them might be hiding the devil fruit in their person. Excuse me? A devil fruit user, Mr. Ayama. Or a quirk user? I do at least get a read on one of them here. There's no devil fruit user here. Right now, Ayama's still going to turn. And looking at the crowd, did he hire a devil fruit user here? Mr. Ayama, don't lie to me. Mr. Ayama, you should know. Not coming forward with this information could violate the game. Okay, whoever has the fruit, step forwards. Right now, someone's going to step forwards. And the person who does get step forwards is... Who is that? Now, Ayama doesn't want to shout out to them, asking if they were going to reveal they had a fruit. And Deku does see Ayama. Reiner doesn't read him. He's trying his best to try and keep himself cool. Hide the fact that this person, he knew they had the ability. But Deku, he's trying to read them. Understand a bit more about this power. He can't tell, but... No. The category. It isn't a logia. He doesn't believe it to be. But not much can be read without actually seeing a show of their abilities. Paramecia? No, he doesn't think so. Though it will be fun to test. Definitely see where it does go. Now, Deku, he does start expressing. As Reno does his talk, and Mr. Ayama is going to turn his head. Momo actually going to stand there, as she actually is going to bring her hand down and bring the mask back up to her mouth and onto her face. Now, Momo is going to stare into the reflective surface. Her going to actually communicate back with everybody in the limo. And right now, Kirishima is being made aware of the parts of the plan. If things do go bad, the mirror she has placed on the ground, it will serve as a portal. Whenever it is going to ripple like water, Kirishima, he must be ready. Jump to the mirror and then jump to another one she has placed on the other side. He will know because it is marked. And whenever he does get through that mirror, he will be in an area with sufficient enough material. Then he must return and join in on the game of war. Now, Deku just started to outline a few things. This is going to be a 2v what? 50? 2v50. But there's only one of you. The hitman is in the distance, isn't he? No, Mr. Ayama. The entire game's perimeter is both the pier and out in the parking lot. So what does that mean? That does mean a number of things, Mr. Ayama, but most importantly, it does mean all of you are free to go anywhere you do wish, and start wherever you do want. Though, the other contestant, they are currently here, but you do not see them currently because they are already in view. What? Now, Ayama's a bit more surprised. And Momo, she has to at least lie. Expressed to Mr. Ayama. Yes, right now the user, or the second contestant, they're already here at the location. They, however, are already in their place. She wants him to understand. They can all get things set up. 10 minutes before the game is going to start. 5. 5, Mr. Midoriya. Correct. 5 minutes. Time to prepare and make a plan. Then eradication. When I turn and walk away. And Momo does at least get a turn to Mr. Ayama, expressing, does he agree to these rules? By Mr. Ayama, I need a verbal confirmation. Yes, but I still do not understand the game of war. There's not much to understand, Mr. Ayama. You brought 50 men here, and he and another person are here as well. That does mean a number of things. Though, I am concerned about what that does mean for you, and your organization. My organization? Yes, Mr. Ayama. We have many things outlined, and made clear. And if you do violate the rules of this contract, then you do understand that this is punishable by your death. I understand. But why are you being the mediator? Mr. Ayama, I am very neutral in these affairs. My family has done so for the past century. The city, it's been like that for almost 21 years. And I believe it is only fair, as a truly neutral party, for me to be here. Is that so wrong? It is not, Missy Rosu. Now, Mr. Ayama, you are already wasting time. Would you like to join me? We're going to turn and go to walk to a location. Now, the two are going to walk to an area outside the game. And Ayama, he currently isn't going to stand there with an earpiece on, at least going to radio into his men. And his men used to get things a bit more set up. And Ayama, he does want to smile. The plan's gonna go accordingly. The guy doesn't even know what's gonna happen yet. Though this secondary person, the the light speed hitman, it's definitely gonna be challenging. Gonna be well, nerve-wracking. He's honestly a bit more intimidated. I mean, his familia will come out on top. And they'll come out on top because they just have the firepower. Or, well, they know which notes to hit correctly. Now, that right now is on Ayama's mind. And currently we do have Izuku. Deku does stand there. And right now he has yet to move from his location. And Mr. Ayama, he does it a wait. The timer does it a start. And Deku, he does actually still stand there. And his crew, they do wait. They're waiting for Izuku to come rushing in to attack. They're expecting this guy to be all gun-ho like he was last week at the club. And Deku, he has yet to still move. And the men are waiting. And waiting. And waiting. And what the fuck is going on? That's on their minds. And Ayama, after a minute, he doesn't hear a single shot ring out. He doesn't hear anything explode. He doesn't hear anything happen. And that does concern him. As right now, Deku, he does still stand there. And some of the men, they do actually at least get a report back to where Izuku is standing. And Deku, he does still stand there. As his hands are limp at his sides, and someone, they do at least get to take aim. Them a bit more curious. Holding up a rifle in their hands and going to actually somewhat charge up their haki, pouring it into the weapon. As the bullet, it does just somewhat glow. And Deku, he does not feel it. He senses the path of the air, how the air will shift and move, and the way an object will fly past him. And right as the bullet is fired, Deku actually is going to throw his head to the left, as there is the bullet does shoot directly past and over his shoulder. And Deku, he looks directly at the person who fired the gun, then looking at Deku a bit more shocked and alarmed, as Deku starts to walk forwards. And they get his radio back in, about how he's another haki user. And that doesn't make Ayama a bit more surprised. He heard a shot ring out, but then nothing afterwards. And Momo does express to Kirishima, the game has begun. Now, Deku, he is to walk forwards, and many of the people there, they are quite alarmed. As right now, Deku, he's a rush in, him running in without using his devil fruit. Now, Deku, he is a blasting in. Right now, there actually is ready to throw himself over a wall. Him going to leap up into the air and into the air. Deku going to throw his hands up against the wall and throw himself backwards. Him going to actually shift his body. As he starts to climb up the wall and make his way up. Right now, the man, who is a sniper, he does actually something to look around. He lost eyes on him going to go silent. And people are a bit more alarmed. As Deku, he's going to send out his conqueror's haki to the entire location. And everyone they do something to freeze. And Momo, she can feel it. She can feel her heart thumping in her chest. She can feel the adrenaline pumping through her veins. And she does already know. The moment this battle began, they already won. It was just that simple. But right now there actually is Kirishima. Kirishima, he heard the mirror ripple. And he actually jumped in. On the other side, he found himself in the mirror world. Him looking around. The place smelled a little weird and, well, wow, this place is large. Kirishima to walk around. And there actually is where a mirror, it does something to sit there. As Momo, she actually does at least appear in the mirror. Her face being right there. Her at least going to address Kirishima. Her face sticking out of it. To walk through this mirror and find the stone on the other side. Then come through. And, well, wait for Mr. Midoriya to give him an order. And that's where Kirishima hears to listen. Right now, him going to walk through and phase into the stone that's underneath the pier. Now, currently there actually is Izuku. Izuku, he already made his business known as a haki user. And currently there actually is Deku. He does get a rush in. Right now, him gonna actually leap through the air, and some people they do to see him. Deku, right now, covering his body in armor hockey, and going to smash Ricky into somebody and send them flying into the water. Deku gonna turn, and gonna dodge out of the way of another hockey bullet. Him actually gonna turn and swat one out of the air, feeling it hurt his hand. Now, Deku does it for the armament on his hand, so it won't weaken. As Izuku, he does at least move to the right. Him could actually move to the left and rush in. Someone actually trying to bring their hands up and begin to play an instrument. And Deku right now does this one turn. Him going to look up at the top of the Ferris wheel. As someone does a fire bullet at him, Deku brings his hand up and swatting it away. As there actually is where he does this, going to look down at his hand and see blood. And Izuku, he does something going to stare at that. And right now, they're actually going to turn back. And the Devil Fruit user, they do stand there. And they play a song. As Deku, he does stare at the person. Him, right now, surprised. And there actually is where his arm does a pop off of his body. Him more alarmed by that. No shit. Huh. Isn't that right now Deku's mid-set exploding? And Deku does a full backwards as the top of his body separates from the lower half. And right now there actually is Deku, who does get a lay there. Him smoking in the abdomen as currently there is the Devil Fruit user, who they do start to at least talk about it. They did it! Now, Ayama is going to jump up confidently. Him a lot more surprised and alarmed. Yes! Now, Ayama is a bit more proud of himself. And currently there actually is Izuku, who does get a lay there. As currently Deku, he does a turn. So that's what that fruit does. Right now I'm going to throw up his hand and blast out his finger, smashing directly into the person's heart. And now the Devil Fruit user, they're a bit more alarmed. Them going to look down and... No, wait. What? But that's a beam of light. Where? Them bring their hands down. And I'm going to actually pull back blood. Where did a beam of... Right now the person going to look down. And Izuku's not there. As Deku, he actually bring his hands up. He's going to wrap them around the person's face, expressing to them. That's certainly an interesting fruit. Though, as it is interesting, he does deem it to be useless. He can use it for a plan of his. Though, it will be rather annoying. Now, Deku is actually then going to turn. I'm going to chuck them out back and towards the water. And rather the person is sent flying backwards. And they have one realization go through their mind. That guy was a Devil Fruit user. He is the Lightspeed Hitman. Now, right now Deku, he's actually watched the person fly into the water and sink like a stone. And Ayama's a bit more alarmed. He heard the splash and he saw the beam of light. A 2v2. And Deku, he currently is going to bring his hand up onto his earpiece, expressing to Kirishima. Now, and now there actually is the entire pier, which does start to shake. And Kirishima, he actually is going to start shifting around the entire area. Ayama feeling the ground shake, and he's a lot more alarmed. As Deku, he does go stand there on the pier, on top of the Ferris wheel. And there actually is where a giant golem does sort of manifest out of the ground. And some people are quite alarmed. They could feel the pier shaking, and they felt it start to collapse a bit. And Deku, he brought his fingers down. Him starting to at least blast down beams of light, and smashing many of the people. As here there was somebody who tries to fire off a gunshot directly at him. And Deku, he actually is a bit more surprised. He still is going to stare at Kirishima. Him, so I'm going to feel his observation hockey, alert him. I'm going to turn his head as right now there actually is where a bullet is going to fly in, it's cutting him directly across the cheek. And Deku, he actually looked back down. Him bring his hand down, and actually going to zoom down there. Right now Deku going to reappear. Him going to bring his leg outwards, and smash the person up with an up kick, sending them flying up into the air. And Deku does then go to turn. Him going to turn and begin to start dismembering people in the crew. Now, Deku blasts into them and gets ready, using armament hockey to smash through them with one punch. And many of them are quite alarmed. As there actually is Ayama, who does get to start hearing it. He hears the screams, and then he hears the report. They're trying to retreat regroup, replan, refigure things, the person cutting out. Anayama, he does sit there. As currently there actually is, the stone golem does come to walk up. And now he is carrying one of the last members of Yama's crew. Right now the golem going to bring his hand down with the person's head and crush. As Johnny does let go. Anayama does stare on. A devil fruit user. The Pika no Mi user. And Izuku must be the stone. Right now the person going to actually have the golem fall into the ground. This being where Kirishima, he has actually pulled himself out of it as if it was water. Now, Deku does actually then go to reappear. Right now him going to form out of light, looking in front of Mr. Ayama. And Ayama is going to watch on. He sees Deku's feet form, and then the legs, and then the torso. And then Deku does go to reappear. Right now him still with that cut on his cheek. And that doesn't want to alarm him. He stares right at Mr. Midoriya. As Deku, he's going to bring his hand up. Well, Mr. Ayama, well. Him clapping his hands. Isn't this something? You're actually the Lightspeed Hitman. Yes, Mr. Ayama. It does seem like you finally put the pieces together. You cheating bastard! Cheating? No, Mr. Ayama. You see, I was perfectly within my rights to have my associate here, but now Kirishima going to walk up, and going to actually hold onto a stone weapon. Him bringing it up onto his shoulder. As Kirishima does stand there. I and my associate here, Kirishima, we took out your men. The game of war. Well, I'm going to turn around and stare at the pier, which is somewhat on fire. And no survivors. Your side has 50 casualties. My side, 0. You lost. I don't understand. Now, Momo is currently recording and wearing a wire. And Ayama is going to express, they've never lost a game before. He cheated. He's a fucking cheater. And this will not go unpunished. He will, right now Momo going to turn, express to Mr. Ayama, there is nothing cheating about this. Mr. Midoriya already laid out the entire guidelines for the entire battle. His people versus 2. Izuku is the Lightspeed Hitman. This information, Mr. Ayama was not prevalent to, though Mr. Midoriya was not prevalent to the information of the Devil Fruit user on his side. Ayama can claim Izuku cheated, but he was only using the same tactic Mr. Ayama did. In fact, they were all on even playing fields. They did not know the opponent's Devil Fruit, they did not know much, and Mr. Ayama, he was actually given a very, very big handicap. He only lost to 2 men, and that does say quite a lot. So will Mr. Ayama honor a deal? Or is he going to try and refuse it and forfeit his life? Now, Ayama is going to sit there, and he does want to turn to Mr. Yorozu. She must be involved in this somehow. He knows that she is. But there's also one chance he does have. He just needs to grab her. He just needs to be able to get his gun. He just needs to go reappearing right in front of him. Him bringing his hand, smashing Ayama directly in the gut. And Ayama is not going to kill over for his pain. And Deku, he's going to grab him by the hair. I'm going to turn and throw him into the ground as Ayama is going to skid across the sand. And on Ayama, he's going to lay there. Him going to roll over on his back and try and skid backwards. What are you doing? I can read your intent, Mr. Ayama. You cannot harm the mediator. That rule is also punishable by death. You're lying. Mr. Ayama, he is not. Momo will bring her hands up, pulling off her mask, expressing to him, Mr. Ayama lost. Now, is he going to honor the deal? Or is he going to forfeit his life in this Davy Bat game? What do you want? Fine. You see, there we go. Now, I want your familia to be disbanded. Excuse me? You heard me, Mr. Ayama. I want you to make a phone call. And I want you to give the order. I want you to tell your familiar to disband. You no longer control the north side. And that has been quite a bit. Now, Ayama is looking around. He knows it must be here. No. They have a devil fruit close by. He knows it. The men in the water. He drowned. He drowned. Okay, so the vehicles they have. The pier. It must be there. It must be on the pier. They go turning to Kirishima and going to actually look at him, telling him he wants him to go back to the car. Right now, he wants him to understand this. Take a second to rest. Using the power must have taken a lot out of him. And Deku is then going to bring his hand up to his ear, expressing to both Bakugo and Mina. There is a very crappy devil fruit on the pier. Retrieve it. Eating it is not an option. If they eat it, they will gain an ability that is not useful to them currently. Now, the two are somewhat alarmed. They heard devil fruit, and they immediately got into action. But Deku tries to express, not the ones they want. And the two are a bit more annoyed. And Deku, he actually is going to turn to Mr. Ayama. I expressed to him about what to do. And Ayama, he does begrudgingly make the phone call. He explains the situation to many of the other people on the other end of the line. And many of them are not happy. They don't like hearing what they're hearing. And that has been quite a lot. And Ayama, he is told about everything. And after he does it hang up the phone, Deku does a step forwards. Him holding up his hand. And Ayama, he actually is going to actually look up to Suzuku. As Deku, he does actually get someone pull Ayama to his feet. And Momo actually is going to step forwards. Her going to bring her hand out and stab him upwards directly in the gut with a knife. Her going to slide across. And on Momo is just one smile. As Ayama, he has to look down. And currently there is where his guts, they're no longer on the inside, where they should be. Now, Ayama's going to somewhat fall forwards onto his hands and knees. And he's just to cough up blood. And Deku, he has to somewhat step backwards, expressing to Monsieur Yurozu. Now, that does honor his end of the deal. Deal? Now, Momo has already stopped recording, and she has to express. Yeah, she does understand. Now, that does mean a number of things. She will honor her side. Right now, Momo's going to bring her hand down, and going to actually pull out a handkerchief. Her going to turn to Izuku, and going to somewhat wipe away the blood on the side of his face, expressing. Though she is quite alarmed, he only took immediate damage. Nothing a bit of healing won't fix. A few days will fix. Correct. Now, Ayama doesn't want to sit there, and staring at the two. They were in league with each other. This wasn't a fair game from the beginning. They cheated. Now, Momo doesn't want to bend down. Her bring her hand directly into her jacket, reaching into a mirror and pulling out a firearm. Her gonna cock back the hammer and bend down to Ayama, expressing to him how this game was really played, and how many people, they won't miss his organization. Mr. Ayama is going to be given a choice. His wounds are already lethal. He probably does already feel himself fading from consciousness right now. Whenever he falls asleep, he'll never wake up again. And currently, that is the problem. She won't have time to really savor this. And in a moment, to bring the gun directly up to his head. Her going to look him in the eyes, as she doesn't want to smile. And Ayama doesn't see it. He fell into a trap. He fell right into a trap. He never got it. He never finished it up. He never realized it. The time, the bang. Now, right now Yama's gonna fall backwards. Him going to lay in the sand. As right now, Deku, he does actually get to somewhat turn. And right at the pier, he does see somebody bringing up their hand and waving the fruit in the air. And Deku, he does a smile himself. As currently, there is her Momo. She doesn't want to turn. Her going to wipe the blood off of her hands and go to walk towards her car. As Deku, he at least brought out his arm, and Momo, she went to take it. A valued business partner indeed. Somebody she wants on her side. Now, they all do to head back to the hotel. And Deku, he locks the devil fruit up in his suite, where it should be secure. And Momo does go to at least invite a few people over to the hotel and give them a bit of a meeting. How things are all going to go. And many people, they actually don't want to sit there. Deku is in a chair, and many of them are somewhat concerned. News spread like wildfire that he challenged Ayama to a Davy back game, and he currently does sit here. Ayama doesn't. They've already heard rumors of that family disbanding, and that does not tell you much. Those men scattered like rats. Many of them were freed from contracts they were stuck to until that family finally lost, or until they all died. Many wish to actually serve under this man. Many wish to actually be a part of his organization, but he does not have one. And Deku, he made things quite clear. Some of them got their own men back. Some of them actually have people on their side, friends again, no longer enemies. And that does mean quite a lot. Deku just sort of expressed to many of them, as the tape is going to play, expressing to Mr. Ayama about what happened, the rules, and everything. And Deku does express to many of them about what's going to be happening. They've all been brought here to ease the tension, to stop the war from breaking out. Miss Yaoyorozu will control the north side. Her organization will take it over, build hotels there, renovate ones that already exist, and change the way that side of town does work. In fact, that can be proper neutral territory for all of them to meet. If they all agree to this, they can avoid a conflict and a war. They can have time and a bit of peace. All of them, maybe, can break bread and all be friends. Not be at each other's throats. Understand that the bigger threats on the horizon are all worse. And right now Deku does stare at two different people. He stares at Sayako and Telly and a blue-haired man. Ida, from what he heard. And this doesn't want to amuse both the two. And right now the fourth person there, they do currently sit there, a bit more annoyed. They expected to be playing a game with adults, not children. And Deku just stand there. Henley's going to express to the person about exactly what happened. And right now that's a bit of a problem. As someone, they put another bounty on Deku's head, since he's already proven to be more and more dangerous. It was confirmed that somebody killed this familia, and Deku was definitely involved. And his bounty is to jump up again, doubling in size. A little bit more than that, let's say 5 million now. And Deku, yeah, he is going to get some recognition. People are starting to know him as a very, very dangerous individual. He's in league with the Lightspeed Hitman. I really butchered that. And Reno Izuku, he does have a lot to say to many of them. However, more importantly, Deku, he is still trying to make plans. He has another devil fruit, but it's useless to him. It's not one he had in his plans. He already knows what it does do. In the right hands, it could be very powerful. But if he's correct, you need to know how to play a musical instrument. Bakugo and Minab don't. And, well, sad to say, he doesn't really know anything outside the piano. So, it's useless to him too. Though locking it away and using it for a later date, saving it for a rainy day, there's an idea. Now, somebody has been observing things from a distance. They've heard about quite a lot of things. And with the fact that the Ayama Familia has finally been destroyed, they have a lot to do. The little thief and her little claws, and what she'll do next. It will certainly be quite interesting. Though she is hearing rumors. There's another devil fruit in town. Certainly one that's Interesting? Unique? Rare? What was it called again? Hmm. She'll find that out later. Though she does know that somebody, they'll definitely pay millions for it. And that right now is on their mind. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.